Hi there, this is Dana Arcuri, author, speaker, survivor, and advocate, and today's topic is about alias accounts on social media who bully, stalk, and mob you. And so this is something that I have personally dealt with, and it is something that I believe we need to talk about and build awareness and support one another, and also understand the legalities to bullying, stalking, and mobbing. And so we have to understand that those people who are bullying us, stalking us, and mobbing us, whether it is face-to-face or online, they could be your acquaintance, it could be a family member, it may be a coworker, or it can be a complete stranger. So there's many different things involved as far as who the person is hiding behind their technical device. And oftentimes it starts online. It could then end up becoming something, personal, someone who actually knows where you live and they're stalking you and bullying you and harassing you, even at work or at your home or what have you. So we're going to talk about this and get into the different facts about it, as well as legal matters that pertain to this. Now, a few things to look for, and here's some very common signs to look for. These people who are doing the bullying, harassing, and mobbing have not only alias accounts, so they have these fake accounts. It could be fake emails, fake YouTube account, fake Facebook accounts, fake Twitter accounts. So all in all, they create dozens upon dozens of fake identities. Typically, these fake identities have no pictures, or it may have just someone's fake initials. It may have some bizarre names. Sometimes these people get very creative in their alias names. And they may also use someone else's name. So there's a lot of different scenarios that can take place. So be aware that typically, now we'll give an example on YouTube. They're not using their real authentic name, nor their picture, nor their identity. So these are people who are basically hiding behind their little cell phone, and they think they're so savvy and smart. And yet, really, there's so much more that's going on behind the scenes about this, in which I'll share in today's video. So we have fake pictures, fake identity, alias accounts, fake names. There's usually no information. So whether it's someone on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, someone on YouTube, if you go to the About section or you go to the section on that actual social media platform, and you search, like, who is this person who is saying these nasty things to me, and I don't even know them, or at least I don't think I know them. And so you check them out and you find out they have no information. The one thing you might learn is the date they created this account. So be on the alert, whether it's an old account or it's a new account, be on the alert for when they created this account. That might be the only shred of evidence and information at this early stage that you'll have about this particular person. Next is that I've noticed a pattern. So I first experienced stalking, and it began online about 7 years ago with a stranger who I did not know. He was stalking many women. And they were not only people who lived in his community, but people who lived millions of miles away. The only positive thing I could come up with about my situation with this person who was absolutely psycho and stalking me was that he lived millions of miles away from me. So that was something that gave me a little bit of comfort. However, I soon found out that he did a lot of nitty-gritty searching, private information about me, including my address, And he ended up sending me some very, very evil, malicious things in the mail, which I did turn over to the police. During this whole investigation, it ended very, very bad. It was a situation where this stalker found me on Facebook through a mutual friend, and my friend was no longer even friends with him because she realized that he was a predator, and she ended up seeking help through the police and had to really do some serious legal work and, hire out professionals to help her and protect her. But this person was extremely sociopathic, and it ended bad where he ended up committing suicide at her workplace on Easter Day in front of an entire group of families and children who were eating their Easter dinner at the restaurant where my friend worked. So it ended up really, really extremely serious. There was a big investigation in which the police in that state where the crime and his suicide took place, they had contacted me because I was on a list, a hit list. He had a hit list and I was on his hit list. So please understand, this is not something to take lightly. If someone's stalking you, mobbing you, whether it's cyber stalking, whether it's face-to-face, near your home or not, take it very serious and don't hesitate to seek legal action. Call the cops, call the FBI, do what you have to do, hire yourself an attorney. We'll get into some other legal actions and steps to take more near the end of the video, but I'm just kind of summing up, hey, this isn't my first rodeo. I've dealt with this, and it was at least 7 years ago. All I could say is I take great comfort that this subhuman, this sociopath is no longer living. And I really personally believe that when people have no peace on earth, a lot of people are like, oh, they're in heaven and they're at peace. No, I believe that when people are evil and they're hurtful and they're hateful and bitter and they harm others, I believe that they have a horrible, horrible death and that they will have consequences that they will reap for eternity. So there will be, whether you want to call it karma or calling it reaping what you sow, what goes around comes around. And I believe this person's living a hell right now for their serial stalking, mobbing, and malicious crimes that they committed to many, many, many women. Next, let's move on to, I've noticed that there is a pattern with these potential alias accounts. So they have dozens upon dozens, if not hundreds, of alias false identities on the internet. So whether it's through their mail, it's through their email, it's through their social media accounts, however they communicate, whether it's on YouTube or wherever, these people have many, many, many alias accounts. And think about it. Isn't that exhausting for them to try to keep up with all their fake identities? How do they keep it straight who they are from day to day? Can you imagine that these people are working so hard to hurt other people and to stir up so much trouble? They're instigators, the manipulators, they gaslight you, they stalk you, they hound you day after day after day. They might be sending you horrible threatening emails or text messages. That's if they got your phone number. Sometimes it can happen. If that's the case, change your phone number, change your email. If necessary, move. I've talked to legal professionals and they gave me a lot of advice. Changing our phone number, having ourselves so we're not so easily available is something that might be in our advantage. Now, of course, if you are a public person such as myself, who is an author and a speaker and an advocate, there's, so much stuff on the internet about me. Google your own name and you could find out how much information's out there about you. But when you're an author, you're not considered a private person. Now you're considered public. I've had to really take a huge step back in the fall of 2020 and make drastic changes to promote my own safety and protection. And please know that this is very serious, and I will go to great lengths to protect my own self and to maintain my own peace of mind and my own boundaries. Next is that in 2019, my sister's husband, who is a lifetime bully, so he's a very domineering person, extremely aggressive personality, very narcissistic personality traits, and he, just always bullied me for as long as she's been married to him, as well as many other people. He created on Twitter a fake Alias account, and he ended up using my mother's name. So understand that there are times that different people who will cyber stalk you will use someone's name, and it might be someone who you know, such as for me, it was my mother's name. And so they'll stoop as low as they can go to try to stir up trouble and instigate a lot of obstacles and challenges within your own life. But understand that there's a lot of things that you can do, and we'll get to that more near the end. Next is that also in let's see, 2018 and 2019, my niece's ghetto husband, who's complete trash, started mobbing me, stalking me, harassing me on both YouTube and on Twitter. It's really interesting reading some of his comments. Number one, he needs to take an English class. Number two, no, I'm not going to respond. The healthiest thing we can do, and what the legal team has recommended to me, which I will be then recommending and suggesting to you, is never ever respond to someone who's stalking you, mobbing you, gaslighting you, who is creating smear campaigns against you. Number one, don't react. What they're trying to do is create, this whole fear factor and intimidation. And so don't fall for the bait. They are provoking you on purpose. So don't react. Instead, you can find out, number one, who it is, if you are able to do so. Take some screenshots, document dates, details, what they said to you, etc., etc. And then on this social media platform, so whether it is YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or wherever it may be, you can report them, and you can block them, and you can be done with them. And if they turn around and create another alias account, and keep in mind, most people who are gaslighting you and stalking you and mobbing you, understand this is what they do. So they'll again and again and again keep creating and recreating another account, another account, another account. And so again, you're going to continually screenshot, report, block, and be done. And, start collecting your evidence, because someday you may need it in court. Next is that, okay, so not only was my sister's malicious husband bullying me, creating alias accounts, one after the other, then my other sister's husband started following me and started trying to harass me. And then before you know it, my other brother-in-law, his youngest sister, started stalking me and trying to mob me on Facebook and YouTube, and she created alias accounts, and it just goes on and on and on. Do you understand? These people are unstable, they're psychologically not healthy, and they have severe problems. And again, the best thing you could do for your own self and peace of mind is to document everything, take screenshots of everything, start compiling your evidence, and trust me, through time, it will grow and grow and grow. And then you will reach a point where you will consider getting legal help and giving this to your attorney, or taking this to the family court division at a courthouse that handles stalking, harassment, and so forth. and you will turn it over to the courts. Sometimes we have to take it to the next level, such as reporting it to the cops, the FBI, hiring an attorney. We do what we need to do to stay protected. But this is the most important thing out of this whole entire video. If you do feel threatened, like especially your life, your safety, or if someone's threatening your children's lives or your pets' lives or something else, do not hesitate to call 911. Do not hesitate to immediately seek local authorities to report this, because it's very, very abusive and it is by law a crime. Next, we're going to talk about mobbing. So according to Wikipedia, quote unquote, here's the definition of mobbing. Mobbing means bullying an individual by a group of people such as family, a workplace. Sorry, I'm trying to read my notes. Cannot see my notes. Okay, so it could be family, it could be a workplace, it could be this group of people are strangers. It could be a big business. It could be practically anyone and anything, because in today's day, we can really come to terms with that. Online bullying and harassment and mobbing has been going on for a long, long time. It is now coming to the attention of legal professionals because it is so frequently happening to just millions and millions of people. Mobbing is emotional abuse, and it's ganging up on someone using intimidation, humiliation, rumors, threats, and ongoing harassment. So they're very covert. They have these tactics in which they're very secretive, and they have a sinister motive to verbally attack you, to criticize you, to create smear campaigns against you, and they want to hurt you, harm you, and destroy your reputation. These alias accounts on social media are using alias emails. They're using alias across the board, everything. So they might have those throwaway phones. They're not using their own phone. Oftentimes they'll use a throwaway phone. They'll come up with all kinds of interesting tactics with their fake Facebook account and fake YouTube account. And they'll send you malicious emails. On YouTube, they'll send malicious comments. So if it's like Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, they'll write horrible, horrible comments. They might send you a message through Facebook or somewhere else if they're able to do so, in which again, they'll send some really, really ugly, toxic, very cruel messages to you, and there might be threats involved with it, and you may need to report them and block them on social media. Understand that these people who do the mobbing, the stalking, and the bullying, they are very low vibrational people. They have a negative energy. They have no morals. They have no empathy, and they're cold-hearted, toxic subhumans. Next, they actually suffer from a very poor self-esteem. They're extremely jealous and vengeful people, and they have no respect for you. They have no respect for your healthy boundaries. There might be something that you have, or something, you have positive traits. You might have a really pleasant or an outgoing personality. You might be one of these very likable people, and they may hate you for it. They target you, especially if you are an empath, or you're someone compassionate, or you're someone who has a lot of people who are following you and subscribing to you and who like you. And so therefore, they're going to prey on you. Typically, this type of person has limited friendships, limited acquaintances. They may be a loner. Their lives are so pathetic and miserable that they latch on to people who are empaths, and they want you to be miserable too. Emotional vampires is another trait. So they are emotional vampires because everything they spout out of their mouth or that they write to you. So whether they're writing it through a Facebook message or through like a Twitter comment or a YouTube comment, or somehow they have your address, maybe they're writing you a letter, maybe they're sending you an email, however they're communicating, and it could even be they left you a message on your phone. So there's many different ways they will communicate to you. But the main point is their communication's very negative, very hostile, hateful, bitter, and extremely, extremely cruel. Next is that typically, these people are known to have a criminal record. They may have spent time in jail, and they definitely may have had a past with legal troubles. Online, they hide behind their cell phone, their computer, whatever technical device they are using. But we can understand that what they're trying to do is to conceal who they are. They don't want you to know their identity, and that is why they create these alias accounts. Their motive is to try to scare you, intimidate you, to make you feel bad or make you feel sad or make you feel mad. What they want to do is to get a reaction out of you. They love, 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 and take pleasure in having you get upset or scream or write back to them trying to defend yourself. Again, I highly suggest you don't respond to this person. Maybe there's one or more who are ganging up on you and mobbing you, stalking you, bullying you. When you do research about the anti-stalking, anti-bullying laws, and you speak to professionals like in the legal community. So there's legal professionals, whether they're attorneys or they're people in a nonprofit agency. I've spoken to many. Trust me, I've made a lot of calls. I've done a lot of research. Yes, I have my attorney. And so they have suggested do not ever respond, not on the phone, not with an email, not with a message on social media, not with a comment on social media. You will document everything. You will collect your evidence because we will use it against them in the future when we go to court and we sue them. Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. We're going to go after them. They think they're so hot. They think they're so smooth. But I tell you what, sooner or later, they're going to make a mistake. And trust me, you're going to catch that mistake, and this is going to work for your benefit someday in court. Next is, while they hide behind their cell phone and their technical devices, and they think they're so cool and so smooth, the truth is that they're very weak people. They're very insecure, and they're cowards. They're just absolute cowards. They don't have the courage to see you and approach you in person and then to say those same horrible, nasty, ugly things to your face. They don't have the guts to face you in real life because they are wimps and cowards. And so we can understand that there are certain laws. It's an anti-stalking, anti-bullying, anti-mobbing laws for most countries, especially for the United States of America. And these laws are in place to protect people who become the target, the victim of such cruel cyber and face-to-face crimes. So stalking is considered a crime. So we must take this very, very serious. Let's end on this note. Again, you're going to document everything. You're going to take screenshots, again, of everything. And then Even start a journal, have dates, have times. If there's a location, like say something happened on Facebook or something happened even in your community. Say someone was following you and they sliced your tires when you were at work. Write it down. Take the pictures of your tires that someone put a knife to them. If someone's calling you and hanging up, start documenting everything. Next is online report and block. Another thing I want to mention is don't so freely give out your email and your home address to people, even if they seem like, oh, I just wanted to send you a card for Christmas or a birthday card or blah, 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 blah. They can make up every excuse in the book. If there is someone and say they are an acquaintance, you don't know them yet. You don't know them yet. Just because you met someone on social media or you met someone who was at a mutual friend's wedding doesn't mean that they're necessarily safe or that it's someone who you should even give your personal information to. So please keep in mind, as far as your phone number, if someone continually harasses you by calling you, change your phone number. If someone continually harasses you with your email, you might want to change your email. Don't freely give any of this information out. And if someone is stalking you, mobbing you, gaslighting you, understand it could be a person who is a narcissist, but it's not necessarily a narcissist. A sociopath, yes, it very well could be a sociopath. The odds are greater that it is someone who is a sociopath or someone who is narcissistic, someone who does have a criminal record, who spent some time in jail. But understand that it might be someone who doesn't have a jail record. It might be someone who you would have never, ever in a million years suspected, because they have like a double persona, almost like a Jekyll and Hyde persona. They have like two personalities. And so it might be someone who, to your face, they're putting on a big act, like they're your friend, but behind your back, they are ripping you to shreds, they're disrespecting you, and they are sending you all kind of malicious, hateful mail. Next is that you could consider going to your family courthouse. If it's family, then that's family court. If it's a stranger or if it's someone you're not related to, that could be civil law. And what you will do is you will get a restraining order and you will hire an attorney. And there are some cases where you could find pro bono, legal assistance. There are other times, depending on your income, if you have low income, there might be, and it's called sliding scale C, and it's where an attorney will charge you much less money if you are a low income individual. And next is, of course, it's absolutely essential for you to stay safe, to create everything within your power to protect yourself, to protect your own identity, and to create peace of mind by having those healthy boundaries in place. And lastly, never ever hesitate to contact local authorities and to get a restraining order against someone. And share with me, have you ever been stalked, cyberbullied, mobbed? Has it been your family? Was it the narcissist? Was it your toxic siblings? Was it an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend? Could it have been someone you met online and perhaps you thought at first that they were a really nice person, and then after you really got to see like who they really were, like what they were all about, maybe through a series of months, you were communicating with them, and then you realized that they just seemed like something was off. You started getting a lot of red flags, like this person's not mentally stable, and you started getting a really bad feeling, like a negative vibe. It could have been something like in your gut, like this intuition saying, warning, warning, this person's very dangerous. And if so, share with me what you have gone through, what you have experienced. Did you need to get a restraining order? Did you hire an attorney? I will leave some links down below for you to give you some professional resources. But in the meanwhile, stay safe, take care, and promote peace of mind. God bless.